now tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Good morning.
Good. You sound a little bit distorted this morning.
I sound distorted?
Yeah.
You sound crystal clear.
Okay. You're sounding a little bit
I
better.
sound a little distorted? Or what do I sound like? Do I sound...
You sound like you're drinking some hot tea out of your CMR mug.
She's sipping some hot tea.
Waiting for it. Yep.
I think that's a little bit better. You came in a little bit heavy there.
He came in hot?
Hot and heavy.
By the way, it does look like I'm wearing the same thing that I wore yesterday.
You are wearing the same thing.
I do have...
You've got more than one shirt, I hope.
I do have many shirts and many hats. And
Just all the same.
And I am wearing pants. Believe it or not.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's funny.
Aaron is wearing pants as well.
That's always good. That's always good.
Optionally.
Optional. It's optional on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's optional pants Tuesday.
It's only Tuesday.
Optional pants Tuesday, people.
So funny.
That's it. So you're still negative?
Yes. Just grabbed it real quick and still negative.
Great.
Have you had your booster yet?
No. I'm not eligible quite yet. I'm on the cusp, I think, of being.
You're over 40.
No. I mean, when I took the 6 months.
Oh,
Yeah. So I did it, I think, in May, the end of May, I believe.
I'm getting my booster today.
You're doing yours today? Nice.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't knock me on my butt.
I'm going to try to go with Dion. I know they're doing under 40 next week.
Is it next week?
I think it's next week. But I went with Dion and he just turned 40, so I'm just going to go.
I know some of the lines are really long, like an hour wait, which is
Yeah.
we need to sort that out. Move people through a lot quicker. I mean, these people want vaccines. You know, they're going on their lunch break and doing what they can't just be in line an hour.
No.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it deters a lot of people from wanting to get it. They'll just turn around.
Yeah.
I mean, if I see a line that long, I'll be like, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've been back since
it should be a 15-minute thing.
March. Yeah.
I think workplaces need to step it up too, where people can actually come in and do like you know, a lunch and shot kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where you just go in and
Good idea.
Yeah. Like big places like, you know, Maples and Walkers, you know, they've got hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Who are very, very busy. So if they could have something at their location, even once a week for a couple months, I think that would be extremely effective.
Can you have HSA come by, or is that you
can actually. Well, we had a shut-in. We arranged for a lady who's a shut-in. She's not very mobile, but they went last week and gave her first shot. So she really wanted to get it because she does have some people have to come and visit her and deliver her groceries and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So she wanted to be protected.
Let's stand by. We didn't give the numbers yet this morning, so we'll do that. Here we go live.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning, Blake. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning to all of your listeners in Radioland.
What do we have for news this morning?
So this is a CMR exclusive. You'll hear first, but I'm sure the other news media will be picking this up. Had a huge victory in court yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Against?
Remember that $105,000 judgment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Judge has decided that the default judgment would be set aside, which means that $105,000 is set aside too.
So you don't have to pay. So you won.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is it done now, or is it just on hiatus, or
it's done. The lawyers will do some formalities to hopefully close it out, but I think that's as done as you can get.
Great.
Oh, congratulations.
So, we're waiting on the judgment, then we can give more details exactly what the judge is going to say. But basically, big shout out to Kyle Broadhurst from Broadhurst Attorneys at Law.
I know that.
The judge found in his and my favor, and aka his arguments on every single point every legal point and I guess factual point that he put forward as to why it should be set aside. So it was a very good day. I felt like I was the DMS winner.
That's good. Yeah, right. Well, you kind of were. You saved $100,000.
Yeah, I $105,000 back.
Wait, so Kyle's your lawyer then?
Yes.
Cool.
We really. I wasn't actually there because I was, working. Some of us got to work.
Oh, good.
But Kyle performed. I heard that he really did an amazing job. And let this be a lesson, kids. Hire a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sometimes you just gotta do that.
I know a couple lawyers that work at Broadhurst, and so shout out to them.
Yeah, good job, and big shout out to Tiz as well, because Tiz, he's got a support team there that's really good.
Speaking of the $100,000 winner, we're talking to her coming up in just a few minutes. Dawn Bodden. That was big news yesterday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, let's talk about the numbers we got from Public Health. Kind of a whopping number, and Good thing that we're protecting the travelers from getting COVID.
I'm telling you, that's all we're doing.
So yesterday, Department of Public Health reported 559 positive results since Friday.
Yeah.
6 of those were from travelers.
That's, yeah, I mean.
553 from the community.
Mhm.
There are over 4,100 people in the Cayman Islands in isolation right now.
Right.
That is
So,
a
you know,
huge
if
number.
you divide that by the 3 days, that's 186 a day.
Yeah, that's about what we've been getting, right?
Yeah, because I mean, we've gone up above that. We've gone over the 200 mark a couple times. So technically, this is a trend downwards, I suppose. You could look at it for the daily average.
Close. Yeah.
But what's the hospital rate?
23 right now.
How many in like ICU, ventilator? What's the?
We didn't get. Did we get
Didn't
any
get that.
information on that?
That's the
They
information
didn't give
that
us a
matters.
whole lot of details this time on those hospitalized. I mean, we know of 2 persons that are relatively serious because it was being discussed over the weekend. So there's the one female who remains, we'll just call her anti-vaxxer for the sake of, not naming her, but she remains on a ventilator. And there were messages circulating over the weekend that she was going to get access to the antiviral drug, which she, I guess, is hoping will.
The antiviral drug only works right
in the early stages.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
when you're on a ventilator.
that's what I was thinking.
Unfortunate.
I saw this message and I thought the exact same thing, Aaron. Like they were like, "Oh, she's gonna get this drug, and this is gonna really like."
Why was and it's like that's all. It's just take the vaccine. It's free. Driving me nuts.
No, we'd rather take all these other drugs, ivermectin, everything, instead of the vaccine.
It blows my mind.
And possibly die. Yeah. So, and then
we don't want to see that happen.
No, we don't. And that's the sad part is you just don't want to be like, ugh.
Yeah. I had someone call me yesterday and they said, "Sandy, people listen to you." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" She said that she was in the grocery store and she says, "I cannot believe that people are not even social distancing in the grocery stores." And I honestly think that we were sort of controlled for so long and locked down for so long that now people are just, they've gone hog wild. They're just, doing whatever.
It's true. I mean,
yeah. And I wonder, Blake,
in the grocery store line, and I'm just kind of like,
back up.
Back the F up.
Yeah. You're breathing down my neck.
Yeah.
But literally. Yeah, you know what, Blake, I do have to wonder if just thinking about human behavior, if we can't even help ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Humans seem to not enjoy being told what to do, even when it's for their own good. And so they will revolt, they will protest, they will do the most to be able to die unnecessarily. It's just crazy. But
I mean, have you been to any bars?
No, I'm not really a bar person.
My husband thought it was going to be a great idea to go and watch the rugby over the weekend. I was like, no. And it's not that I'm worried about us all getting COVID. I'm not worried about that because we're vaccinated.
And people are shoulder to shoulder.
I'm worried about getting sent into lockdown and then all of a sudden it's 3 weeks later because I know people that have been stuck in for 3 weeks. So I'm like, I'm not scared of COVID because we're vaccinated. We protect ourselves.
I know people that have been stuck in
I'm
for
scared
4
of
weeks.
being stuck inside for that long. I don't want to isolate before, it just makes it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, we're at, we seem to be stuck at 78% for 2 doses, but the 1 dose keeps going up. So I guess eventually in the coming weeks, we'll get that above the 80% mark.
Why would people get 1 dose and then just?
I don't know.
I mean, I hope people are following up. And I'm curious to know how well the new work permit regime is working in terms of people coming in. I guess we'll know that probably in a couple months' time because, as the borders continue to sort of reopen, those figures will probably present themselves a bit more. But yeah, it's quite unbelievable, to be quite honest.
All right, Sandy, we'll check your show now live on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll catch up with you on the Wednesday show tomorrow.
Have a fab day.
You too.
Bye.
All right, folks. So, yes, COVID continues to spread like wildfire in the Cayman Islands. And I must say, it appears to me that Caymanians are not even worried. Yeah. Just absolutely amazing to see what's happening. It's quite shocking, honestly. But nobody, the vast majority of people are just like, they are not even remotely worried. I must tell you, it is a little bit bizarre in the sense that I expected better. I expected us to be coming out of, lockdown and just doing a little bit better than we are, really. Need to restart to improve performance. Oh, let me see what's going on here. So, there we go. I was having some camera issues since yesterday, and I was trying to figure it out. I restarted it, and looks like it was just a simple setting. I think we're good to go now. All right. Well, there we go. I'm super tired this morning. Can I just tell you guys? I literally woke up. I was like, oh my God, look at the time. Let me run in the bathroom. Stayed up too late working. So much to do some days. But anyway, good morning. How are all of you beautiful people? Let me see. Trying to chase up a few things for people today as well. Helping people get some stuff sorted out. So there's lots of questions, sorry, that need to be sorted out. All right. And oh my gosh, sorry. Where are my wipes? There we go. I'm sorry. That was a sneeze. Wipe my hands first, and then I'm going to wipe my nose with the tissue. Although, when you sneeze, those are your own drawers, so I don't know. I don't know if you can germinate yourself by yourself. So, eventful day yesterday. We're going to get into it in just a second here. Okie dokie, Smokey. Marshall, Dean is here. Good morning. Robert, thank you so much for tuning in. Benji, good to see you. Wee Wee, so nice to see you. Alice is here. Olivia has it locked. Miss Doris. Irvelyn, good morning. So nice to see Siobhan. Beverly says a very cold morning in New York. 34 degrees. Ooh, Beverly. That is cold. That's definitely jacket and something under the jacket, like a turtleneck. Rovina, Beverly, are turtlenecks still in fashion? Good morning, Pam. Are they always fashionable, or is that just my memories from the 1990s? Diamond Princess Sapphire, good morning to you. Roger says, where can I get the booster shot? So let me just have a look at the schedule. I think it's still HSA. I think it's still mostly at the mostly. Let's see here. Here we go. So this is version 4. So this is what's current. So today's date is the 23rd. Let me take that comment off the screen so we can see a little bit better. So today is the 23rd. It looks like okay, hold on. The 23rd. Is that Cumana Bay? Am I looking at this wrong? Why does it all of a sudden look confusing to me? No, I think that's right. Isn't that right? 23rd is blue. So I think because they put that first and second dose between, that kind of is confusing me just a tad. So today Cayman Bay from 12:30 until 4:30, and then 5:30 until 7:30. So it's next to the observation tower. Tomorrow at Cabana Bay, and then the sister islands, Ashton Reddy. And then East End on Thursday. Friday is back at Cabana Bay and back in the sister islands. And then Saturday is the sister island. Saturday is Cabana Bay. Yep. That's what it is, Roger. So get out there, folks. If you're supposed to get your booster, please do so. Kayleen, good morning to you. So good to see you. Yes, thank you. Let's talk about that this morning. Chantal is here. So listen, beyond good news, I mean, yesterday I was ecstatic when Kyle called me. So Kyle Broadhurst from Broadhurst Attorneys at Law, folks. He is Caymanian, and listen, he is actually really, really good. So we had a strategy that he went over with me. And he said, you know, this is worst case scenario, best case scenario. This is the roadmap. This is the plan. This is what we're going to do. So I said, all right, I'm going to leave it to the experts this time, not try to do it myself. And as you guys know, what had happened in this case is the plaintiff had gotten a default judgment because basically I didn't file my defense within the allotted time. So folks, the best advice I can give you right now is don't assume. They say only a fool represents him or herself, and I think that's true up to a certain point for sure. Do not assume that you know the technicalities of the law. You know, get yourself an attorney who does know the technicalities of the law, because what ended up happening was they took the case over, and we were prepared to go all the way to the Court of Appeals if necessary and appeal it. And I myself had tried to get a default judgment set aside, but procedurally didn't do it the right way. And so, you know, the Grand Court in particular, you've got to follow procedure. And I think, you know, they're not going to allow you to skirt around the procedure. So even when you get it wrong, sometimes, not sometimes, that will definitely work to your detriment. So Kyle Broadhurst redid it and applied for to have the default judgment set aside. They were in court yesterday morning. So while I was here live streaming, it's so ironic, actually. The irony of it is definitely not lost on me. While we were here working and announcing a $100,000 winner, I was winning literally $150,000 I do not now have to pay out to somebody, plus his legal fees. So basically, you know, they set aside the default judgment, which means the monetary judgment, the award of $105,000 now has to be set aside as well, because it wouldn't be based on anything, if that makes any sense. So I'm super excited. We will wait on the decision from the judge to do the story on CMR so that we can get all the details and stuff like that up. But the good news is, I mean, Kyle did such a bang up job pointing out, you know, all of the areas. I mean, there was a number of different legal points and factual points that, you know, he argued, and the judge basically found on every single point in our favor, which is like amazing. So yeah, this is like an amazing day. Absolutely amazing day. So I am beyond over the moon, like literally, now that that judgment has been set aside. So yay me, yay Kyle. Yeah, just absolutely amazing. We could not have asked for a better outcome, to be quite frank. Because really now this, you know, listen, no one wants to have a judgment for award of damages against them for any amount. And $105,000 is a big deal. And, if required, we were going to be making some very interesting arguments about that as well. But thank God we don't even have to go in that direction. Because, that is a huge amount. And I think most people in the legal fraternity were actually very surprised that Judge Carter came up with that amount. Everybody I met was shocked. And so the bottom line for me today is that, we have a situation where I feel like justice has prevailed. And, justice has indeed prevailed. And I'm so incredibly thankful. So no, I don't have to, Elaine, the idea is, I don't have to do anything. They'll just close it out from here, because he would have to refile their lawsuit. And knowing what we all know, which is actually everything that I said in the original stories were true, his lawyers would be stupid to try to go at the pie again, because we've proven our case even in public. You guys have seen, we said that he was terminated. We said that he was, all these things, fraudster and blah, blah, blah. We use certain terms to describe him. All you need to do is look at the termination letter, look at the joint liquidators report. There's tons of stuff that is evidenced since then. And since the judgment, ironically enough, if you just go to the website and search John Felder, you'll see that everything that was said in the original articles was actually 100% true. I think initially we said he was terminated in July, and it might have been like August or something like that. Like there was one date off, and that's just a minor correction that can be made to the original story. So, buenos dias to Elizabeth. Louis, top of the morning to you. I feel like I need some hot tea this morning. So Soka says, you keep asking about turtlenecks. They've never gone out of style. They're like a staple in clothing. Love them. Soka, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit here. You might actually remember this, but recently I was talking about something on the show, and it triggered a memory for me of a store called Units that used to be in the malls, where you could go and buy like mostly solid colors, and you would put them together. Like you could get the turtlenecks, you could get the skirts, you could get like a belt. Do you remember that store? It was called Units. It was my first retail job. Now I've had a couple of retail jobs, believe it or not, because, in the States, when you go to university, retail is kind of like the easy thing to do. So we are on YouTube, by the way, but we're in the backup YouTube feed. So yeah, the other one has got us in YouTube jail again. So we are in YouTube, and you can find it there. Darlene says, Sandy, the whole truth is COVID is not going to kill us now. It's all the stress that we're bringing on ourselves. Just do the right things and we'll be okay. Yeah, I mean, I do feel that. Someone was saying to me yesterday that they've been feeling very anxious lately. And I think that, I agree that a lot of people are feeling anxious, actually. And this is what I said to them. I said, listen, you're probably not all that unique in the fact that you're feeling anxious. And I think what you should do is speak to somebody, get a therapist, because I don't want to take that role on. I kind of saw where this conversation was going. And I said, speak to a professional, because everyone responds to life stresses a little bit different. And so if you're expressing to me, a total stranger, really, because I don't know you, I see you around, but I really don't know you. If you're expressing to me that you're feeling anxious, and I did see the person over the weekend, and they'd asked me for a favor, and I said, sure. And in asking for the favor, they actually started to break down a little bit. And I thought, like, they were getting very teary-eyed and crackly. And I thought, oh God, I can't take on this emotional stress right now. Like, I myself am feeling stressed and need to know my limits. So I have a lot of people, you guys have no idea, the phone calls I'm getting, the messages. Oh, Sandy, this person said you help them and you know what's going on. Can you help me? I get a lot of it. And I don't mind doing it, but I also have to manage people's expectations. I talk about this all the time with politicians. First of all, I'm not a politician. I'm not elected and I don't get paid to do any of that, right? I just do it because I want people to have correct information. And if I can't help them, then, but there have been some high stress situations of people over the weekend on the plane en route to Cayman being told misinformation. When they land here, this is what's going to happen. And they're stressed out and they're like messaging me and I'm having to call the premier and call this one and travel time. And, I take on just by helping a degree of stress with the situation. Obviously, it's not my personal situation. So it's not like that level of stress because I would be like really stressed out. But you still take it on. Like you're like, oh my God, this is, So I think we all have to know during COVID, that I think everybody's stress levels, generally speaking, are heightened. And what is it that we need to do? So, just take care of yourself, your mental health. I agree with Miss Darlene. I think that a lot of us are probably more stressed out than we even understand or that we're taking on. I got to be honest with you. Every morning I get up and do a lateral flow test. There's my negative. Let me show you guys how this. Yeah, there's my negative result. Every morning I have to get up. I think I have one kit left, so I need to go buy some more kits. But even every morning I get up and take this, I feel a little bit nervous. I've never had I don't know about you ladies, but I've never had a situation where you had like a pregnancy scare but this is what I feel like it would be like you're taking this test every day and you're like, oh, please don't let it be positive. Maybe when you were in your 20s, some of you guys might have had that where you were like not quite figuring out your life choices yet. And you might have had a little mishap and you're like, don't let it be pregnant. Don't let it be positive. It's a little bit stressful and we need to figure out ways to manage your stress. I think everybody manages stress differently. Some of us eat, some of us exercise, some of us pop a pill, have a glass of wine. What are you guys doing to manage your stress levels? I don't even know. For me, I think I actually just keep busy, which is probably not a good thing. I do feel like I need to disengage and just like turn everything off. I probably need a BRAC trip. But right now, the BRAC isn't the safest place in the world either with COVID. But, I kind of feel like I should just disengage for a bit. But then, part of me can't disengage, as crazy as that sounds. Like I just got to keep like focused and doing stuff. And my job doesn't exactly allow me to fully disengage either. I've got someone who's doing like international and regional stuff, but there's still work that has to be done. So I'm thinking meditation is a good idea for all of us. We should probably all be meditating and praying a little bit more. Why not? And just learning how to let it go. Just have a moment of Zen, listen to music, have a cup of tea, like whatever. I had such a fantastic time this weekend. I don't know if I talked about this yesterday, but I have discovered the world of pickleball. Why didn't y'all tell me about this? So it's a thing and I'm totally into it. So about 2 weeks ago, I was at Cost You Less and I saw this pickleball set and I thought, now I'd heard of pickleball on my reality TV shows. So weird, right? So I was listening to, by the way, normally my de-stressing thing is to watch stupid reality TV, like all the housewife shows. I watch one Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, but I'm like seasons behind. I probably don't even know the characters anymore. And so, I don't mind watching all that stuff. I like my celebrity gossip, the Kardashians. Like I think I'm behind a season on the Kardashians. Like I never saw the final season, although I knew exactly what happened. I never really saw it, right? So I was watching, I just turned on the TV and it was on Vanderpump Rules. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch this. And then there's what's his name? James talking about, oh, Lala had, booked a game of pickleball. And I was like, pickleball? What the hell is pickleball? I'm like, oh, these Hollywood frou-frou people are always coming up with stuff that's like crazy, right? I'm like, I've never even heard of pickleball before. So I ironically, a couple days after that, I'm in Costa Last. I see this thing says pickleball set. I was like, pickleball again? What on earth is this? So I'm like, I'm gonna buy it. Comes with a little net, the paddles, and the balls. So I said to hubby, I said, hey, last week, I said, put this together for me. This would be a fun thing to do in the yard. So he was like, okay. So he put it together. And then, oh, I forgot to send out the notification to my WhatsApp group. I'm so sorry. They're going to kill me this morning. Oh my God. So they, let me just send this out to them real quick. CMR. Oops. Yes, YouTube. Let me grab the YouTube feed. Hold on one second. Okay. Totally forgot this morning. My apologies. So, so I grabbed the pickleball set and I'm like, all right. So on Sunday, my husband's like, well, you have this pickleball set sitting in the yard. How about we use it? And I said, oh, fantastic idea. Fresh air, a little bit of exercise. I said, let's go get it. So we went outside and now listen, I don't know any of the rules of pickleball. I don't know the scoring or anything of that sort yet. I'll get into that. But I thought, let's just hit the ball around, right? So I watched a quick 3-minute video on YouTube, and then I became a pickleball expert. Y'all know how it works. It's kind of like COVID, Dr. COVID. Everybody watches a video and they're like, oh, I'm an expert. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm an expert. I know everything about COVID-19. So I watched a quick pickleball video and I thought, all right, I got this. Because you don't stand, the ball doesn't have a bounce, especially on grass. It's not going to bounce. But apparently there is such a thing as a pickleball court. There's a proper court and everything, but you're in a tighter space than like a tennis court. So I love tennis. I think I told you guys already. I like racket sports. So I've never played badminton, but I love tennis. I love squash. Table tennis. At one point, I actually had a table tennis in my apartment. I got rid of the dining room table and I got a table tennis instead. I'm telling you, I love to get into certain things. So anyway, we started playing around and it was so much fun. I want to show you guys a picture. We had a fantastic time. Now, I'm a little bit competitive. Some of y'all might find this hard to believe, but I got a competitive streak. And my husband's always like, what are we going to do with you? So my daughter will say things like, oh, we're just here to play. And her dad's like, oh, clearly you don't know your own mother. She's not going to be playing with you, girl. She's going to be beating you up and down the court. So, yes, we play to win. So, pickleball is fun. Get yourself a little, I'm going to show you guys a little net. Obviously, this isn't like a professional pickleball court or anything like that. This is just a fun family activity, folks. Something fun for the kids to do if you've got a little bit of yard space. And we were actually ironically using this in the back, which has the least amount of yard space. We have way more on one side of the house. But because the sun was in that area, we thought, we'll just use it in the back where we can get a little bit of shade. So here we are with the little pickleball net, and we're just hitting it over and had lots of fun doing so. My husband hit it in the gutter a couple times, so then we had to borrow a ladder and he had to crawl up to get the balls out of the gutter. And it was fun. Played for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. You know, I'm not in the best shape in the world right now, so I didn't want to overdo it. But I thought to myself, you could play pickleball for a good hour and actually get a decent workout. So I'm working up to it. And then I've got some friends who reached out after seeing my Facebook post, and they said, Sandy, we are building a pickleball court. And I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And so they're like, you've got an invitation to come anytime. I was like, oh my God. You know, I actually wanted a tennis court. We've got yard space, but not, I don't know if it's big enough for tennis. Like it would probably take up, the tennis court would take up the whole thing. And so I had this brilliant idea. I said, Marlon, let me just build a tennis court. And he's like, girl, you don't have that kind of yard space. That's crazy. Plus, he's like, a pool would be so much more used by everybody in the family than just tennis court. But I can get really into sports. For a while, I was into bowling many years ago, and I had my own bowling ball. I had my own bowling shoes. Like when I get into it, especially with the accessories, I kind of do go a little bit like really into it. So good morning, Emma. Talking about people having to wear masks. Well, you know what? I don't have to wear a mask all day like that, but my husband does at work. And I think people actually get used to it. And it's probably not as challenging as you think once you get used to it. Even sometimes I go now in the stores and other places, I'm putting it on. When I come out, I realize that I forget to take it off. And it's not as uncomfortable for me as it was when we first got started with COVID. So I think some of this is in our head too, where we're like obsessing about, oh, I can't breathe in. Once you kind of let it go, like the little Frozen song, just let it go. You know, you're going to be okay. I'm going to send you some information on unit soak, because I think if you lived in the States in the 80s and 90s, it's going to ring a bell. Good morning, Damaris, joining us from New York. By all accounts, it seems like the U.S. has a cold front going on. It is cold. Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm so excited about the court victory. Let's talk about the DMS winner, in case you guys missed that yesterday. Dawn Bodden, hopefully she's going to come on the show tomorrow, by the way, has won $100,000. Oh my God. I cannot believe it. And you know what? She did not know the whole time that she was sitting there that she was the winner. In fact, they played it very, very well. So they obviously invited the winner yesterday, but what they told her is that they were inviting finalists. So she only knew that she was a finalist and not that she was the winner. So she was truly surprised yesterday. It wasn't like the winner was sitting there and knew that she was the winner when she heard it being announced. Now, Adrian, from the spokesperson from DMS, actually started giving a few hints beforehand. So she's like, she's a Georgetowner. She identified as a woman. And when she got to the point where she said, and she has 2 kids, that's when she could see the expression on Dawn's face. She's like, oh my God, they're describing me. So big shout out to DMS. I know Jonathan is probably here. He's probably pissed off that he did not win. I'm a little bit perturbed that I didn't win, but you know what? That's life for you. Not everybody could be a winner. They could only pick one. And so the winner was announced yesterday. The minister got the envelope, and the winner was announced as Dawn Bodden. So here she is. I'm sure it's still sinking in for her. And everybody loves the fact that Dawn is a Caymanian. She's a mother. And, she's not like an uber rich person who probably didn't need $100,000. Dawn is going to put this money to good use, I feel like. So hopefully tomorrow morning, we will have her on the show, or at some point tomorrow, we'll conduct an interview that we are going to air. So make sure you keep your ears and eyes open for that. But congratulations to Dawn. I was so excited when I heard. I don't even know Dawn, but I'm like, hey, a Caymanian woman won this. And I don't know if Dawn's married or not, but I'm sure her and her family will definitely be able to put $100,000 to good use. Yeah. Amazing, right? So, I'm curious to know how she's going to handle certain things, like everybody probably coming out of the woodworks right now, like trying to hit her up. Oh, Dawn, can I borrow a couple of dollars or whatever? Dawn's going to be like, no, y'all need to go away. So, that's fantastic, right? Are you guys not excited about that? Yeah, absolutely wonderful. $100,000. Oh my God. I keep dreaming about it. Like, what would I do? I probably feel like John Felder felt when he thought he was going to get $105,000 out of me. So he's probably sitting there, oh, $105,000. I can finally do something fun. And then somebody else came forward and said, oh yeah, he owes us like way more than that. So we're going to be grabbing that money if it ever comes to fruition. And I feel bad for the guy who was trying to get his hands on the money, because he's one of the several people that Mr. Felder owes money to. His name is David Reed. I mean, the lawsuit has been published on our website for years now. And poor David was trying to get some of his money back. So he was putting what's called a garnishee order on my judgment if it ever got paid. And yesterday, I guess his lawyers would have informed him, Sandy won another one. So sorry, but you ain't getting that money. And the truth of the matter is, when it comes to civil lawsuits, especially for debt and stuff like that, probably the easy part is winning. The hard part is actually collecting the money. Because somebody's broke. There's one guy I see, his name is McLaughlin. He's all over the cause list. I saw him on the list the other day and I was looking at it. And his name only stood out because there was another guy who was seeking advice from me on how to get him to pay. He had started up some business where he's like, oh, we can get money, loan money, and then you get a percentage back. It's a very, very risky thing to do, folks, because normally the people who are attracted to like cash to payday businesses are the people who simply cannot pay. So you're trying to get blood from a stone. So when I saw him in court, I saw the documents being filed, and what's his name again? He actually works for government, believe it or not. He was, there was 2 lawsuits back to back, which I thought was interesting timing. One from this debt company that he borrowed money from, and then the other one was from CUC. So I'm thinking, wow, if this dude can't pay CUC, went and borrowed money, and then there's another person that he borrowed money from, another cash to payday company that now needs to file, so they're going to be third in line. The chances of him actually getting that, the chances of all these companies, including CUC, getting their money is probably slim to none. And he owed CUC a couple $1,000s. And, CUC doesn't go after people as readily as you would think. Like, they really, I think, exhaust all other options. They'll like put you in a payment plan. They'll do the most. And most people don't play around with CUC because, at the end of the day, they need their electricity. And once you salt your name with CUC, folks, that's going to be it. You are not going to be getting any more accounts set up, or they're going to be asking for so much money from you in terms of a deposit that you probably might as well not even have a CUC account. I've very few times have I seen CUC sue people. It's almost unheard of. but they have sued him. And his name is Heath McLaughlin. So FWC Loans has sued him. And I think CUC filed their documents on October the 5th. I see CUC going after Sarah Christian as well. Like I said, it's not often that CUC goes after people. So when you see that, you know that it's like, whoa. So CUC filed on October the 5th. Let me see how much money he owes CUC. I remember being a couple $1,000. Principal of $2,119.95 plus $1,000 in interest. You see, and they said pursuant to the credit agreement. So, I mean, they really try to work with people. But I guess they've exhausted what they think is going to be anything viable. So they're looking for a total of $1,000 in interest pursuant to some credit agreement. The principal amount of $2,100, basically, fixed cost, court cost, and anything further that the judge may deem. So, and then literally the same day, I think, or the day after, was it the day after? No, same day, FWC Loans sued the same guy. I think it's so ironic that they both filed in the same day. So here they say that they entered into a credit agreement with him from February of 2019, where they were going to supply him with a credit facility and he was going to make minimum balance repayments per month. So now they're suing him for principal of $1,599, so $1,599.96, interest of $1,212, and then other like court fees and whatever. So they'll get their judgments probably relatively easily, but then it becomes an issue of you get your judgment, but then how do you collect it? If this person's broke and they're, got all this money all over the place, then what do you do? There's this company called Wendell Construction. We're going to be doing a story on them, actually, because they are in a bit of a pickle where they seem to owe a lot of people money. And Wendell has actually been arrested. He's another person that has been arrested. And we are going to get some details on that for taking people's money and not paying, not building the house, not building the project, and then not returning the money either, which is a problem. His name is Wendell. And he has a company called Wendell Construction. So we will be putting something up on him in due course. But I'm very aware of the fact that he's got quite a few people out there that he owes money to because he's taken their money and not given them what they were supposed to get. So we always, look at the court list. You'd be surprised sometimes what you see on here. And some of them are interesting. Like sometimes I see a situation like, what is this all about? Very, very interesting. And you can look at the summary list. You can look at the grand court list. They have financial services, orders and rulings. They've got probate. Probate can be interesting too. You can learn a lot from a probate situation. Here's somebody, William Buckley White, suing Kira McLaughlin. What is this one? Invalid or corrupted file. This one doesn't look like it uploaded properly. So I need to send this to the people over the court's office so they can fix it. Let me see. People sue each other for all kind of stuff. Y'all need to go to court sometime and listen to some of these civil cases in particular. They can get very, very interesting. Strata, proprietors of Strata 154 suing Edward Miller. I don't know who Edward Miller is, but oh, that one's also, there's a number of corrupted files here all around the same date. Let me check some. This looks like a divorce. All right, I'm going to send them this because it looks like a bunch of these files did not get uploaded. Nobody double checked. It says corrupted file, and I guess nobody double checked that it was actually uploaded correctly. Now it's working. Weird. Needed a refresh, I guess. Hold on. Oh, yes. Now it's working. So Strata normally sues you for unpaid money. So in this case, they say this guy owes them over $8,000, almost $9,000 in fees. What a mess. Listen, that's the thing about stratas. You get into them, you better know that every month, in addition to your mortgage, whatever that is, you got to pay your strata fees. I was in a strata for many, many years. I had an apartment. And I must say that I'm so glad that I got rid of stratas, not because we lived in a small strata, so the fee wasn't anything outrageous. Some of these stratas are literally almost the equivalent of a good portion of what would be a mortgage. And I guess the way to look at it is normally your strata fees include stuff like insurance and, incidentals on the outside. So the lawn care and that sort of thing. So if you were in a house and you had to carry that insurance bill by yourself, depending on the value of your house or your lawn maintenance, it would probably be more or less the same. But with a strata, you have that added headache of people having to collectively agree to something, which can be very, very challenging, and having to live with people in your outdoor space. Now, most people, I find, especially unless they have like a pool area or whatever, they don't really spend a whole lot of time just like hanging out in the parking lot at the strata. But, if you've got a strata pool or a clubhouse or whatever, now those are the ones that you're paying a mortgage for strata, trust me. You can certainly spend some time outside, but still, you see your neighbors coming and going probably more than you want. And island drafting engineering. Interesting that they're being sued by two different people in the same day. I wonder if those are connected lawsuits. But anyway, so you really get to see, I think, that it's not always easy living in a communal environment, which is like kind of what a strata is. So Marshall, 30 degrees, 30s in North Carolina. Soka says she has no problem breathing with her mask on. It's a pure phobia. I think it is a little bit. Louis is enjoying the winter. Jonathan says, "You damn right I'm pissed off." He was counting on that go-go money. Can I tell you that some of y'all are crazy? Evelyn says, Soka, it's not the mask that's the problem. It's their own breath that's suffocating them. Evelyn, I'm going to be honest with you. Since I've been wearing a mask, I'm so much more conscious of making sure that my breath is minty fresh, because now I have to really smell it myself. So, and Honey Child, I'm a little bit obsessed with constantly changing my mask. Like I can only wear a mask. I have the black ones. I told you guys I bought boxes of them now. And I bought a box that has colored ones. It has like a dark burgundy. Let me show you guys this. Big shout out to Aeropost, folks. They're my friends. They get me my stuff here in a jiffy. Trust me, I love them. I love them so much. I don't feel the desire to travel because I got Aeropost.
Aeropost makes Christmas easy. In just 3 steps, you can have all your Christmas shopping done. Step 1, buy. Shop online with the retailer of your choice. Step 2. Pre-alert your package and upload your invoice with our state-of-the-art customer portal. Step 3. Receive your package at our GT office without the hassle of customs clearance. Christmas has never been easier than this. Contact us today at 321-4490 via WhatsApp 954-260-9620 to register and take advantage of our discounted special.
All right, folks. I love me Aeropost and I love me some Amazon, and they go hand in hand with each other. You order what you want and they're going to get here to you. So let me show you guys some stuff. I can't show you on my list now yet because I got Christmas stuff in here. So I don't want you accidentally running up to Marlon. Marlon, guess what I saw on Sandy's order list? And then that turns out to be his Christmas present. So I gotta keep it. But I did order some masks the other day that were like burgundy and different colors. Let me show them to you. So I have, where's this one? Where's this batch, by the way? Did I order those? Yes. Okay. Hold on one second. So I get the plain black ones. And then I got me some colored ones too. But I don't feel like this is what I ordered. It says order details. Order October 17th. I don't remember ordering these. You see, this is the problem with that. This is the problem, folks, with Amazon. But you see, you've got masks that they say currently unavailable. So you do have different, I'm going to just screenshot this for you guys so you can see. You know, you've got different options. You don't have to be boring with a mask. You can kind of spruce it up a little bit. Let me show you this one. So Deep Blue Sea says that he's just glad like a woman of the soil came in and won it. Someone just confirmed, I think it was Marshall, that she is indeed married. So her and her family can definitely. How does this work when you're married? Is it your winnings? Is their winnings? I mean, I'm sure you're going to be using it for the family, but still, I'm just wondering, what if your spouse was like, I want to put my hands on your money. And you were like, not so fast there, brother. Not so fast. How do you feel? Like if you won $100,000 and your husband said, okay, honey, what's mine is mine, or what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. So now that you won $100,000, can we talk about letting me just have 50 grand? Like, would you be open to that? Would you be like, no, here's, I don't remember ordering these, but according to Amazon, I did, which means I guess I don't have them yet, but I ordered some colored ones, which are like, they're a solid color, like burgundy, like darker colors. To be honest, I don't know why I would order these. Like, these don't look like me. So now I'm a little bit confused by my own shopping cart, but I guess, maybe I did order them. I guess I'll soon see when the next shipment of stuff comes in from Aeropost. It's almost like Christmas when you get them, when you finally get them in. But they do have them like in different colors. So you can get the KN95 mask in different colors. From pink to reds to burgundies to, you know, all sorts of stuff. So you can get creative. Like when I started wearing the black ones, I actually had people come up to me and say, where did you get that black mask from? And I'm like, Amazon. Because they hadn't really seen them here. So they were a bit surprised to see them. Ooh, it's starting to rain, honey child. It's going to be a good day to just snuggle up with Netflix. So there we go. Really, really nice. Come in all different colors. So I know I got some for my daughter that were like kid friendly. They had like a kid pattern stuff on them. So yeah, make it interesting. Emma says, you know, people who suffer from panic attacks, you know, might have a problem wearing masks. I understand that. But I think, again, a large part of it is psychosomatic. Like there are people who work themselves up into a panic attack just so that they can have an excuse not to wear masks. I've heard of that happening at a local law firm. She like passed out in the HR office trying to prove a point. Well, now she's out of a job. She passed out right out of a job. And it's not funny to not have a job. And you know, it's just a situation where we all have to learn to deal with a situation. Even if you're a person who suffered from panic attacks in the past, you will know that you need to manage that situation. You need to manage the whatever triggers your attacks. You need to learn how to manage that. So Jonathan says, I'm going to start listening to Mario more until they have a new raffle or casino. Irvin had a good laugh at that. Well, all I can tell you is, Irvin, did you change your name? Do I feel like your Facebook name has changed? All I can tell you is, good luck with that one. 63 degrees in Miami. I'm loving it. Kittens were in the car engine. Aw, poor little kittens. Soka says, I have extra masks with me all the time, change them several times a week. Yeah, the ones that you can wash and whatever, those are great. So I do have some of those. But to be honest, the KN95, this weather makes me want to take out my blanket. The KN95 masks, they're disposable for a reason. You shouldn't be wearing them for weeks and months at a time. So, you know, they're going to be a little bit like I was watching a show last night. Not a show, but just a YouTube video. This dermatologist lady, I like her. And she was talking about the necessity to change your wash rag for your face every single day. She's like, you know, if you use a wash rag on your face, by day 3, that's so full of bacteria. And she's like, even when it comes out of the wash, like you just washed it, it has some bacteria on it. So what you need to do is get the 7-pack from Amazon and have Aeropost ship it for you, where you actually do 1 a day. You wash it and throw it in the wash. And to keep germs off your face, I thought, you know, I am a germaphobe, and that's why I like the disposable ones that you can buy from like a regular washcloth. I'm not really into for my face anyway, so I totally understand the point that she's making. And you can get the Oil of Olay, like disposable ones where you just wash and then you wash your face off. I think those are good because they're one use. You throw them suckers in the garbage. Michelle says it depends on the relationship you have with your husband. Then you'd have no problem to share the $1 million half and half, or whatever the awards winning is. What was your, Irvin, you didn't change your name. I don't know, it looks different today. All right. 37 degrees here. You know, I think for me and my husband, it would go into my account, but he would probably say, honey, we got some things I'd like to do. Like he doesn't like debt. Neither do I, but he's very debt phobic. So he will say the only real debt we have is the mortgage. So he would say, let's just pay that on the mortgage. And I would agree. I mean, can you imagine what it'd be like to be mortgage free? And you could save yourself, I don't even know what a mortgage is right now, but let's round it up. Say $3,000 a month. Damn, what would I do if I had an extra $3,000 a month? Child, I'd be traveling. Amazon would definitely be my best friend then. And then, you know, it's just less stress for you. Like when the CUC bill goes up, you're not as stressed if you don't have a mortgage to pay on top of it. So he's very debt phobic, if that's a thing. We literally just paid off a car loan almost 2 years early, a little bit shy of 2 years, like a couple months shy of 2 years, because I was throwing everything on it. He's like, Sandy, look at how much money we're going to save every month. Plus the interest over the 2 years. Let's just knock this out. Sacrifice now for the long-term goal. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. Every month, I got a little extra $100, a little extra $200, throw it on that car loan. Car loans are one of the senseless things in the world. We got to get them because nobody can afford to go and just be like, here's 50 grand, here's 70 grand on a car, whatever it is you're buying, right? You don't have that luxury, but you might have the luxury over the duration of the loan to don't go out for dinner. That's $200 savings right there. Put that in the car loan. That's the interest plus some principal for the month. You can do it 2 years early. And now I'm scot-free of that loan. So I'm so happy. If I could do that with the mortgage. Do you know if you make somebody calculated this from years ago, if you made one annual payment per year on the life of your mortgage, you would save, depending on the amount, but I think on average you'd cut off like a total of like 5 years or something like that. Just one extra payment per annum. You could save a lot of money. And when you think about the extra payment, you're also not thinking about how much you're saving by way of the principal that no longer exists on that remaining balance. Yeah. So it's challenging and you got to make some sacrifices. We don't have any credit cards. Listen, when I was younger, I got in trouble with credit cards and I cut them suckers up and I said, never again. Debit card, if I don't have cash, I can't have it. Don't live on credit. Like I said, I'm just looking at the summary list here and all these people suing each other. You're ruining your name and collecting bad credit. And I understand that we all have had hard times. But unfortunately, one of the reasons for that is people just, oh my God, listen to this. This is Shauna Smith suing Carl Patrick Stevens. October 2019, he borrowed $80 to pay his utility bills. December 23rd, 2019, he borrowed another $2,000 to pay his court fine while in Jamaica. Court fine while in Jamaica? Girl, he was borrowing that for Christmas money. December 23rd, he had a good Christmas. I don't know about no court fine, but he keeps borrowing money. January the 8th, 2020, he borrowed $1,000. By the way, this is CI dollars, He borrowed $1,100, $1,100 to pay his lawyer and court fees in Jamaica. He seems to have a lot of issues. January 2020, he borrowed what? Why do you keep loaning this man money? No. All right, y'all need to see this one. This is crazy. Hold on, let me pull it over on the screen and I'm going to show you guys. Hello. When people keep borrowing money from you and they actually haven't paid it back, you need to exercise good judgment and stop loaning the money. Look at this hot mess. So he started in October 2019, borrowed $80. Started out real slow. Let me just increase this so y'all can see. Okay. Then December 23rd, 2019, borrowed $2,000 CI for his court filings. By January the 8th, so a couple weeks later, he's borrowing $1,100 to pay his lawyer and court fees in Jamaica. January 2020, borrowed another $1,750 to take out a work permit. Take out a work permit for who? Himself? No, this not adding up, man. This dude is just broke. Why would you be loaning him all this money? February 2020, he borrowed $600 for a trip to Jamaica. January 2020, US 615 was loaned to the defendant to purchase plane tickets. There must have been a personal relationship because you would not just be loaning a friend this kind of money and not getting it back. This don't make no sense. This is a situation where you're in a relationship with them, somebody getting sexed up, and they keep asking you for money, and maybe the sex was good, I don't know. And you, like a fool, keep lending it to them. June, $325 to conduct business on her behalf. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. The plaintiff sent $325 to conduct business on her behalf. This was not done. To defend, I don't know what that means. July the 9th, 2020, borrowed $450 to pay bills in Jamaica. Were they a couple living in Jamaica together? And then this is so weird. And then August 2020, borrowed $80,000 Jamaican, $500 to pay bills in Jamaica. The dude got bills everywhere. He not working a while. September 3rd, 150,000 Jamaican dollars, which is $950 to pay court fees again. Another $500 to pay a lawyer in September. December, borrowed another $375 to pay for a car rental. Listen, if you owe this kind of money and you have to borrow money from people, how are you going to be No. People, stop being stupid. Stop loaning people like this money. So now he owes her over $9,000 CI. Girl, I don't know who Shauna is. She lives in Prospect. But child, you're not likely to get that money back from this guy. He's not going to pay you. You'll get your judgment if you can prove that he owes you that money, but wow. I don't know, man. This is crazy. Ugh. Anytime you see these, like Joyce Seymour versus Luanis. Oh, no, not that one. I thought they had the same last name. I was going to say normally those are going to be, this is summary court only. Normally those are going to be what you call divorces and stuff when you see them suing each other. So lots of stuff in financial services, by the way. Sometimes they're a little bit interesting. They were always suing each other. Reinstatement orders and stuff like that. Divorce applications. Normally divorce applications, you don't really see a whole lot on, like family stuff. So like when you click on it, it will only say divorce application. Like it won't really tell you much else. Now, if there's a judgment and, there's something of significance in the judgment, you might get to see that depending on the nature of the judgment. So you guys remember the one guy who sued his wife alleging fraud? The Judge Ramsey, had to write a judgment on that whole situation and throw that case out. So lots of divorces, huh? Part of life, child. Writ of summons. Okay. All right. Everton says, good morning. I wish I had 65 degrees where I live. It's 25 and it'll be getting colder tonight. Ja, good morning. I am still waiting as I am one and the communists on island are many and I need some help to rid my island of such. I'm not sure what comment you're commenting on. Yes, when people are borrowing that kind of money from you. And I agree, Marshall. This is why I think this must have been some kind of personal relationship because most people know better. If someone comes borrowing money from you once and then you don't get it back, you don't keep going down that road. She went down that road like a ton of times. Juan Sanchez versus Garfield Matthews. What's this one? Cayman Brack. So this one is a Huffy bike. Oh, this is an accident. People do sue each other for accidents and stuff like that too. Oh, this guy got a right ankle fracture, liver laceration, lung contusion, rib fracture, head injury. Oh my God. Underwent open reduction internal fixation surgery on his right ankle on the 19th of November, 2020. Wow. My gosh. How much is he suing for? He doesn't really specify. So it's general and special damages. Wow. Interesting. He's probably suing him because maybe he has no insurance. Because normally if you have insurance, they'll let the insurance companies deal with it. But here's the thing, folks. You got to be very, very careful. If you have insurance and you do something that's outside the terms of your insurance isn't going to cover it either. Mm-hmm. I agree, Marshall. Don't part so easily with your money. Everton says one of the most craziest things, as soon as you pay off the car note, then the car starts developing problems. Don't we know it? Because, Everton, I feel like these cars are designed to only, like, okay, it's 5 years. Certain things are meant to be replaced at the 5-year mark. And at the, if you buy, I think certain brands, they really do keep track, like the maintenance guys, of when certain services should occur at whatever mileage or, number of like usage and whatever. So like the other day I was due some kind of transmission servicing thing with the transmission oil and this and that. And, some of these cars are like smart cars. So the computer needs to be upgraded and the software in the car and all kind of foolishness. But yeah, you almost feel like this is kind of what my aunt used to say sometimes. And she kept her cars. She was a person who kept cars a really long time. Like she bought good cars and kept them a really long time. And she used to say to me that it's almost like if you're not paying a banknote, you're paying the garage, the mechanic. Pick which one you want. You're either going to be paying a banknote and you have a newer car that isn't going to give you any immediate problems, or you're paying the mechanic because you're constantly in and out of the mechanic shop. Now, sometimes, folks, even with a newer vehicle, things start to go wrong. I've heard of some people with brand new vehicles have this issue with it, that issue with it. And it's like, whoa. That's why, my favorite car of all times is a Honda. They just are like rock solid. They're good cars. They can be comfortable. I mean, I still have my Honda. Now that car is, what year did I buy that car? I can't remember now. The years are starting to like melch together, but it's kind of getting up there in terms of age. But at the time I bought it, it was sunroof and it was full leather and whatever. The interior still looks fantastic. Mechanically, the car is great. Might have a few little dings on the outside, but nothing major. And it just works. You turn it and it goes. And I feel like Hondas they just work. They're good, solid cars. Deep Blue says, don't worry, he'll find some other Cayman woman to pay off what he owes to this one. Yeah, that sounds like a lend mix-up business. Beverly says, lend money out what you can afford to lose because you will not get it back. Beverly, I agree with you 100%. Many years ago, I saw this on Oprah and I thought, this is good advice, lifelong advice that you got to hold on to. So Oprah said, she's a billionaire, but she said one of the lessons that she learned is that if you cannot, someone comes to you and say, oh, can I borrow money? This is how you need to think about it. Do not answer the question in the affirmative. So in other words, do not say yes. If you cannot afford to lose whatever you're loaning them, never get it back, and not have it impact the friendship. So if somebody comes to you, this is the litmus test, and Beverly has said it just right. Someone comes to you and say, can I borrow $5,000? Ask yourself, can I lose $5,000 when I give it to this person? I'll never see the $5,000 again. And it will have no impact on that relationship or that friendship. It's a two-part question when you think about it. So on the one part, can you afford to lose it? Because maybe you can afford to lose it, but then you're done with that relationship. So now that has put you in a situation where you've lost a friend, you've lost a family member, right? So it's a two-part question. First part, if it's answered in the affirmative, yes, I can afford to lose it. The second part is, are you now going to allow it to impact that relationship in a negative way? And if you can say, no, if I lost $5,000, it's no big deal, it's not going to impact the relationship, then by all means, loan it to the person because you may not get it back. But if you answer either one of those, if you answer the first one in the negative, so can you afford to lose it? And you say no. And the second one is, can you afford to lose that friendship, or will it negatively impact that friendship? If you say, yeah, That's going to make me look at them sideways for the rest of their life, or I'm not going to be able to go to turkey dinner, Thanksgiving dinner with them, then don't loan it. Don't do it. You're setting yourself up. Me either, Evelyn. First of all, I will, if you come and ask, and I'll just give it to you. And I don't think that we roll in no money around here. So don't be come knock on my door to you got a $500. No. You want a $25 or $50? I'm just going to give it to you. Because some people in their heads, they're like, oh, I got to pay you back. I really mean it. You're like, child, please. You're having a moment right now. You're struggling. You have no work. You're on drugs. I've had people that I know are on drugs coming to me about, oh, Sandy, I'm going to pay you back. I'm like, please put this money to good use. Buy yourself some food, maybe some personal hygiene products. Get some help for the drug addiction. But you and I know that you don't even need to say you can pay it back, because those are idle words. So Evelyn says, don't loan money. People will malice you over your own money. Now, isn't that crazy? And I've seen that happen too. So you loan them money, they get upset with you. It's like they're carrying the grudge as though they borrowed the money from you. That's because they know they're just wrong when they don't pay it back. We're coming up on Thanksgiving on Thursday. I know I've told you guys this before, but Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I love me a Thanksgiving. In the States, it's just celebrated in a totally different way. And I absolutely love it. So I'm here scrolling on Amazon right now. And Amazon does all kind of grocery stuff. Like you can do grocery shopping with them. And folks, not only can you do grocery shopping with them, but they have an entire turkey here on their website that you can buy. And it's like delivered within hours. Ooh, they have a whole food delivery service now. So exciting. Sometimes I wish I lived in the States again so I could try out these things. Lots of electronics. We're actually going to have Dino join us from Aeropost to go over what the hot items are for Christmas as you come a little bit closer to hopefully finalizing your Christmas list. Because remember now, what is this? Swirling, steering, self-propelled, cordless electric mop. Powerful floor cleaning. Wow. This looks interesting. Yes. So, some of you have ideas of what you want to do for Christmas, and then some of you need some ideas. So we're going to look at some of the gadgets and other things that are trending right now, so that you can maybe get your loved one something that they really, really want. Beverly says, I have tenants in Cayman who refuse to pay rent. How you evict them when they don't have a lease? Oh, girl, you should never rent to people without a lease. I couldn't visit because of the pandemic, but now as the island is open, I'm ready to take action. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Get yourself a lawyer because this can be very, very tricky. The tenancy law is very tricky. And I think some people feel like they can stay in your property forever, not pay you rent, and then you cannot evict them. There's a way that you have to do it, but you have to go through the courts. So you can't just be turning off the electricity and locking the doors, because then they're going to call the police, and the police are going to want to intervene and tell you to turn those things back on. It's a hot mess. I've heard so many complaints. I think that the tenancy law in Cayman needs to be streamlined, where it's a lot more clear what you can and can't do. And I think it needs to give people remedies for eviction. So there should be a way to evict people without having to go through the expense of hiring a lawyer and going to court. But the way it is now, unfortunately, Beverly, it's just not that simple, especially when you don't have a lease. Do yourself a favor. Always have a lease for any sort of a rental situation. and always have a contract of some sort if people are working for you, whether they're an independent contractor, meaning they're self-employed, or you actually have them employed. Take the time, folks, to put together an actual contract, because you will regret it otherwise. Believe me, I have seen and heard some horror stories. Let me turn on my little lower thirds down there. So Miss Sue says, if I'm going to be cooking at big Thanksgiving dinner Thursday, I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to have a Thanksgiving dinner. I'm going to go and buy a little turkey dinner because I love turkey. I love stuffing. I love cranberry, not the cranberry. What's the one with the little beaded one? Not that. I like the smooth sauce. But yeah, I'm not going to do it because I'm not inviting anybody over. COVID times, we've got 2 people positive in the household. I think my husband should be doing an exit test soon, though. So, he's getting ready to do his exit test. And then, of course, Gianna has to wait a little bit longer to do hers. But she's got school this morning, so she's going to be Zooming at 9:30. So she's going to do circle time, where she gets to see her friends and stuff by Zoom. So she's actually been joining in for her class session by Zoom a couple times during the day. They don't make them go because at 5 years old, you can't sit down for 8 hours on Zoom. So she joins in and out. And then we're supposed to be picking up some more materials for her, like school materials. So, by the way, make sure your schools are organized when stuff like this happens, where your kids will have the least amount of interruption possible as it relates to their education. It's still interruptive, but hopefully it's not as bad. So no Thanksgiving dinner for those reasons. We're not really inviting anyone into our household at this time. And then I think even if we didn't have any positives, I probably wouldn't do it. It's just too risky right now. Maybe an intimate situation where you just have a handful of people over for dinner. Like we hosted a dinner. We're Chef Remy. We did a dinner with, so it was me, Marlon, and Gianna, obviously. And we invited we invited 5 people for dinner at our dining room table. 2 couples, and then a person who doesn't have a partner. And to me, that was great. Intimate. We all had fun. We had a good laugh. You get to connect with your friends. And not a bunch of people. So even Christmas dinner, Miss Sue, now y'all know I love to cook up my Christmas dinner. I got my Cayman beef and this year. I don't know. We might not be doing Christmas dinner this year. I don't know yet. The verdict is still out. I'm going to give it a little bit of time, watch the COVID situation. But again, it's probably going to be more low key, just a handful of people. Most times I'm like, roll through, get a plate of food. You ain't rolling through this year. Sorry. Maria says, always have a kick out clause in your lease. Beverly says, thanks. That's what friends do. Yes. Miss Beverly, it's definitely a tough situation. And some tenants are so unconscionable. Like I cannot believe the things that they do. Even commercial tenants. Like sometimes I see people being sued, commercially and stuff, and they just want to stay in business places and not pay rent. I was like, no, child. Good morning, Miss Charlene. So yeah, it's just gonna be the 3 of us. Maybe I'll go to I don't know, like I'll pick up a turkey dinner from somewhere. Because I really love turkey and I love ham. But yeah, I ain't cooking. I'm not gonna stress myself out. I did some mac and cheese over the weekend, and so I love mac and cheese, and so does my daughter, child. But I try to limit how much I'm eating these days. And she's always like, "Can I just have mac and cheese? That's all I want." She loves mac and cheese. She knows noodles, anything pasta. I keep telling her, "No, that's too many carbs. You love carbs at such a young age. How about some fruits and vegetables?" Well, she loves fruits, but vegetables, that's a fight on your hands. So I cut up the mac and cheese yesterday and I gave it out. There's another Miss Sue. I need to check with her and see how she liked it. But yeah, sometimes I'll be in the mood to cook because I want to taste something, but then I don't want it hanging around too long. So I will give it away. That's the best thing to do. Share, cut it up, share it with the neighbors. Larry says, when I worked as a post server serving legal notices, including eviction notices, there were people 6 months behind in their rent, and it was still difficult to evict them. And then these are the same people who end up calling me. Oh, I'm getting kicked out of my place today. It's so hard, Sandy. I don't got nowhere to go, and I got 3 children. And I say, okay, you need to tell me the fuller situation. What actually happened here? Why are you behind in your rent? And, they always got some sad story. And of course, when it's children involved, you legit feel really, really bad. So Charlene says her Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner normally has 15 to 20 people. And friends this year, my immediate family only. Definitely. Yes. You got to cut down that list, child, because too many people are out at COVID. Going to be a handful in my daughter's house too. Yeah, I like that. We'll have a new baby. Has your grandson had the baby yet? Hurley's do the best. I always go to Foster's. I love Foster's. And I was at Hurley's last night. But yeah, Hurley's, what did I get from there? They had a chicken. It wasn't the lemon chicken. It was some other chicken last night that was actually quite good off of the hot bar. What? Unique says tenants tell landlords, I have my rights. I have children. I will take you to Mall Road. All right. Let me tell you about this. Unique. It's not like unique, but unique. People use this, I'm going to go to Mall Road shenanigans all the time. First of all, don't believe them because they know better. They know I'm going to be asking them some questions about what actually went down. And Mall Road does not support slackness. I don't know who told them that, but I'm telling you the cold hard truth. They can come to Mall Road all they want. That doesn't mean that we're going to be taking their sides. And sometimes what they end up doing is when they come to Mall Road with their foolishness, a lot of times that's just an idle threat. I find in 90% of the cases that's an idle threat. They have no intentions of coming to Mall Road because they know they're wrong. And they know I'm going to be asking questions. And when I see that they're wrong, I'm going to be like, honey child, why are you sending me this foolishness? Pay your damn rent or get out. But I do know of another situation where someone said to me, same thing, commercial tenant. They were like, oh, I'm going to go to Mall Road. And the person knows me really well. And they're like, okay, go to Mall Road. Oh, now they not come to me. You know why? Because they know better. So they sent one long thing about, oh, I'm going to go talk to Mall Road. You treated me unfairly. They said, keeping in mind that he's supposed to pay rent since the first of the month, hadn't paid water bill in months, and refused to answer all emails and calls from the landlord, yet is quick to threaten the landlord with bad talking him on CMR. Please don't post, I'm just showing you. And the person went on to say, I love the fact that tenants who don't pay rent and in arrears with rents and utilities use the threat of CMR to bully landlords. Somebody sent this back in June. I have a text message from a client's tenant that I'll forward you. And I said, wow. I said, these people are so stupid. Because they really know that they can't be coming to me with their shenanigans. Listen, folks, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Sometimes we all get in a little pickle with something and things happen. But you can't be coming to me or anybody here at CMR for that matter. And, you're going to get give us some cockamamie story and you're going to get a whole lot of sympathy. I'm going to tell you to go pay your rent. And I know the difficulties of sometimes meeting those obligations. So that means you need to come out of people's place and find a place that you can afford. Or move back home maybe with your mama and your daddy. So if unique, don't make that sway you in any way. By the way, I did tell you guys that we're going to be launching a new segment here shortly called Sort 'em Out Sandy. And this is perfect time to talk about this. Because for that segment, we're going to be discussing exactly what we're discussing today in terms of what do you do when people don't pay your rent? Maybe you're the landlord and you're having an issue with these people, well, this is the kind of show that you want us to try to help. The idea is we want to come to a resolution. But we also need to be giving y'all good advice about how to overcome some of these issues, some landlord and tenancy disputes, consumer disputes, whatever the situation is. CMR is here for you. I'm here for you. We got to sort them out one way or the other. Don't make people hoodwink you. Soka says, I give thanks every day. I remember when Cayman didn't celebrate U.S. Thanksgiving, but we are so Americanized now. Well, we actually here in Cayman have our own Thanksgiving on December the 1st. It's the first Sunday in December. We actually celebrate Cayman Thanksgiving. This year, the first Sunday falls on the 5th, of December. And that was started many years ago. I was kind of part of one of the planning committees for that when it got started. Samuel Rose and Faith Geely have been very, very instrumental in getting Cayman Thanksgiving started as well. So big shout out to them. But yep, Caymanians can celebrate it on the 5th. To me, I say celebrate it early. The 5th, once it's in December, I'm already in Christmas mode. Like I'm not feeling Thanksgiving in December. But I think most places around the world have some form of a Thanksgiving. Everton says, here in the States, you cannot evict your children in the winter, especially if they have children. Well, does it matter if you have a real winter? Like if you're in Miami, it's 85 degrees in the winter. So it's not like it's really cold outside. Oh, nice. Miss Sue's getting ready for a new great grandbaby. Nice. So, yeah, I saw some of the photos online, Miss Sue. So let me tell you guys what happened to me yesterday. This was a very bizarre situation. You guys remember the Cuban guy, Javier? He was the one who, him and the wife were protesting on the steps of the government building. They were, they commandeered the Panamanian ship. They've been doing the most, right? So yesterday I go into A.L. Thompson's, and I literally had just walked in to buy one thing. I'm going to show you. Do I have it here? I was buying an X-Acto knife because we had one before. One of those little blades. Oh yes, here it is. That you can push up. I use these to when I unbox my streaming devices, I use this to just cut open the box, and then I close it back and put it away. So the other one I had, apparently hubby was using it in something and broke it. So one day I'm looking for it. I'm like, where's my little knife, my box opener? He's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, it got broken. You got to buy another one. So I thought, all right. So I was heading to West Bay to actually see a client to drop off a streaming box. And I was trying to link up with FedEx, and they were trying to sort out like where a package was. So I said, you know what? Let me, in the interim, stop into A.L. Thompson's and just grab this one item, literally $1. And I wasn't planning on, So I go in, and lo and behold, as I walk in, you pass customer service, the registers are there, and I kind of go that way because I'd asked the customer service lady where to find this item, and she pointed me in the right direction. So then I decided, okay, it's like over by the keys, where they cut the keys and down in that section. And I'm walking by, and I hear someone says, Senora Sandra. And I'm like, yes. Oh, it's you. And I said, who are you? With mask on, you can't always tell who people are. And I said, who are you? It's the Cuban guy. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Javier. He goes off. Now, there's something clearly wrong with this man. And his wife puts up with him. I have to wonder if she's an abused woman, because she puts up with him and his shenanigans in a way that does make me really concerned for the safety of her and her own child. I don't like men getting aggressive with me, and I don't like men getting in my face. It makes me very uncomfortable because those are the men who get physical with women all the time, right? And to show your aggression in a public place full of people is astonishing. He starts yelling and carrying on at the top of his voice, pulls out his camera, starts live streaming. This is the woman who lied on me and tried to ruin my family. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yes, you sat on the boat. I didn't. And I was like, dude, you commandeered a ship. You're lucky that you're not in jail. And to this day, I have no clue how he pulled that off. I'm like, you commandeered a friggin' commercial vessel. The Panamanian government was going to send in a helicopter with military grade equipment and military trained personnel to take your ass out. You had a child on that vessel, which, by the way, they got the baby back. The baby's nice and plump. There's nothing wrong with them. Trust me. And the little, looks like she's in a little stroller that's a little bit too big for her. You know, ay. So he starts going on and on and on and on. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, security, are you going to allow this to continue? And he was like following me around and legit harassing me. And here I am walking around with my X-Acto knife in my hand, thinking if this guy comes any closer and I feel threatened, I might have to use this in self-defense because this guy looks like he's lost a friggin' plot. I mean, it was unbelievable. Like, other people are like standing up there looking. Even one guy at the register, I don't know where he was from, Caucasian guy. He was like, "Are you okay?" Because this was getting like really. And then the security guards are like, "Oh, we have to call a supervisor of the store." I'm like, what's the point of security if you're not willing to step in and tell someone that they can't harass another client and they can't do this in public space? Like, I'm like, really? It was really getting to the point, folks, where I was like, listen, I'm going to be prepared to defend myself. Because if he comes a little bit too close and I feel threatened, and I was beginning to feel threatened, I'm like, I'm going to take my handbag and knock him the F out. You can defend yourself. Like, this was just, I couldn't believe it. And then afterwards, as I tried to process the whole thing, right? I was like, and he wonders why he is being reported in a bad light. Dude, all you have to do is look at your own behavior. You're in the situations that you're in this country because of your behavior. Nobody made you commandeer a ship. No one told you to help your friends cut off their monitoring bracelets and do what I mean, it's just, the dude is legit crazy. And the wife, the Dominican wife, is standing up there saying all kind of foolishness about, yes, you said bad things about us. I was like, BIT, you know what? I'm like, who was out there trying to cover your story and trying to highlight, why you're protesting to begin with? You are the people who have taken this way too far. Like, seriously. People were trying to help you. The government even spoke to the governor, spoke to the deputy governor. They were trying to sort out your legal situation. And this is where you give these people an inch and they want to take 5 miles with it. Like, what, dude? And I started to kind of feel sorry for that baby. Now, I got to tell you the truth. That child is growing up in such a dysfunctional environment of people yelling and screaming and that level of stress. Y'all talking about people stressed out? He elevated my stress level in 5 minutes. I'm sitting there going, what the frig is going on here? I just had to shake my head. I was like, wow, some people are crazy. And I don't appreciate you bringing your level of craziness into my lifestyle, into my life. It's unfortunate that you're raising a daughter who's going to be used to that. She's going to be used to seeing a lunatic man yelling and screaming. Because, if he does that in public, I'm sorry, If he can do that in public, imagine what that woman, but maybe she's used to that. I mean, some people grew up like that. Some people grew up with a constant strife in their household. They're always fighting and cursing each other out and beating each other up, and that's their norm. I wasn't raised like that. I'm not used to that. Now, I told you that my aunt, she didn't believe in saving the belt. You know, she would give you that. But in terms of like you're carrying on and fighting between each other, I never saw that done to me. I don't know anything about that. I don't engage in that in my personal relationships. Any relationship that has started to get to that level where it's like you feel like you gotta be fighting with me all the time, there's a front door. Pack your bags and don't make the door hit you in the behind. You gotta go. So I was like shocked at this dude. I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? You're crazy. Anyway, there you have it. And honestly, I thought about the child. I said, wow, she's going to grow up in such a dysfunctional home. Seeing this type of behavior on a daily basis, that's going to be the norm for her. And unfortunately, they're ingraining themselves in Cayman. We'll never be able to get rid of them. Come and check her in 10, 15 years. Mark my word, mark it today. What today is November 23rd, 2021. It's going to be a miracle if this child is going to be able to function properly. The amount of trauma that she's already been exposed to in her young life because of stupid parenting and stupid parents who want to yell and scream and carry on like first-rate jackasses all the time. And you know, the poor child wasn't even responding. I'm like, she's already so numbed to that kind of stuff that it's like, whoa. Nellie says, why isn't he in prison? If he was a Caymanian, he'd been northward so fast, your head would spin. Listen, I beg the question as well. I have no idea why they are still free in this country to walk around and harass people too. But you know, Jose needs to be, or Javier, sorry, needs to be careful because what he is doing is he is actually committing an offense. You can't do that. That's assault. And I could call the police and have that situation reported, have A.L. Thompson's pull the footage and pull the camera. And at the very least, it's common assault, if not more. So Javier, you need to stop your shenanigans. You need to grow up. I don't know how old you are, but you act like you're very immature. You're a father, you have a child, you're supposed to be a husband. You're in this country as a guest. We've accepted you on refugee status. You should try showing a little bit of appreciation and respect. Your level of disrespect to everything in this country has been astonishing. Honestly, you need to stop it. And if this country has the ability to withdraw refugee status, you should be at the top of the list. You should be sent right back to Cuba. I'm serious. It's disgusting what you're doing. Irvin said if it was a different nationality that had done that, they'd be in jail, then deported. Yeah. Deep Blue Sea asking the same question. Why is he still here? Send him back to Cuba or the Dominican Republic where she's from. Only Cayman does this ish go on. Trust me. But he don't need to be rolling up on people because I'm telling you, the next time it happens, I am not, sometimes in the moment, you never know how you're going to respond. And I thought the right thing to do here is to call security. But then when I saw how ineffective they were, and I'm going to speak to LT this morning about this, because they're like, oh, well, we can't do nothing. I'm like, so you're just here checking receipts then. That's all you do. You're a receipt checker. They're like, yeah, we can't do nothing to nobody. Security center. What, really? What's the point? But there has to be some other response because that could have gone really, really wrong in a short space of time. So Irvin said they're bullies. Yes, they are. And then they're going on, but oh, you don't know when you say something, your word. And I said, yeah, people trust my word because we speak the truth. And your truth is the situation that you found yourself in is one of your own making. This has nothing to do with me. CMR is reporting your shenanigans. Who was commandeering the ship and live streaming every 2 seconds like a lunatic, yelling and screaming and carrying on? That wasn't me on that ship, honey child. That was you. And egging on the other people. CE Bank says government needs to put them on a one-way boat back to their perfect communist Cuba. You know, what is so shocking is they want to claim how the Cuban government has mistreated them. And yet, now you see why maybe the Cuban government takes a certain position. I'm just saying, it's understandable why the Cuban government would say, we know our people and we know how we have to put our foot down with them. Because otherwise, this is the foolishness that they go on with. Yes, my dear, security was like, oh, we will make a phone call. He was like, okay. And I want to thank the gentleman, by the way, who did step up and said, you know, are you okay? You know, he wasn't quite sure what the heck was going on. Anyway, let me just see a few people sending some messages. Someone says, CUC gets paid before my mortgage. Sounds like dumb. Where people getting that kind of money to give away. Okay, so there's in relation to some questions earlier. So I'm trying to sort out an elderly lady with a phone. She is having some issues with her phone. So I'm going to try to hit up my friend there, Dennis, over at Cellular World and see what we can do. All right. Nellie says, yeah, Sue says they wouldn't get away with it there. He'd be locked up and he'd never be heard of again. Nellie says, yeah, but they come to the Cayman Islands and they think that they're better than us. Well, I mean, the attitude has really, really shocked me, to be quite frank. And I mean, I've heard some stories over the years in terms of how Cuban nationals do come here. And I don't like to put people in a box because I have a lot of Cuban friends here. Listen, we've got friends in Cuba. I mean, we've got family, that are Cubans. You know, they live in Havana. They don't want to leave Cuba, actually. They're happy staying where they are. And they don't go on like this, but you know, you got a few bad apples that give everybody a certain reputation, you know. And so I know for a fact that remember when they had, I wasn't here on island at the time, but when they had Tent City, when there's a whole bunch of them that came in and they had to be put in temporary housing, you know, my very good girlfriend, Mary, has a scar in her ankle that she will carry for the rest of her life because one of the ungrateful ones in that bunch took a rock and threw it at the immigration officers and hit her in her ankle and chipped off. I think it almost like chipped part of her, well, definitely her skin, but it might have even gone close to chipping the bone on her ankle. And she has a scar to this day because of that on her ankle. So you can imagine, right? It's unbelievable. Nothing worse than an ungrateful person. I despise and hate ungrateful people with a passion. Really, I do. I think it's just disgusting that that you would actually help people and then they would be in a position where they are just so disrespectful to you that they never show any sense of appreciation. You guys remember what I was saying last week about Mario and his show? I'm not saying that the man can't get on there and have fair commentary about the premier and others, but he has demonstrated a complete lack of respect for the premier of this country in a way that's like filled with a lot of vitriol and a lot of hate. And to think that his show got started because of a kind donation, cash donation of $5,000 from the premier of this country, not expecting anything. He's like, this dude's a Caymanian. He has Caymanian children. He deserves an opportunity. If he thinks that this is going to work, this is going to work, or whatever. I'll help him. He went to the premier and begged for help. The premier gives him $5,000, and now you speak about the premier in such a way that is beyond disrespectful. That's a lack of respect on so many different levels, but especially because this is the man who has given you the platform that you're now using against him and trying to make it personal. It was just, I hate me an ungrateful person. Trust me, there's nothing worse, because ungrateful people make you not want to help other people. Because when you walk away from that experience, you're like, the premier is probably thinking, oh yeah, the next person that comes needs help getting a leg up in a low, position or whatever. I was like, listen, people think it's easy. Oh, I'm just going to throw up a talk show and I'm just going to say whatever. And I'll have advertisers just run into my foot. No. Do you know that it takes the average content creator? And that's not really what he is, but let's for the sake of just arguing this point, let's put him in the content creator category. It takes the average content creator 26 months. Listen carefully. 26 months to start to monetize. And even then, you ain't monetizing where you're paying yourself a full-time salary or anything like that. So I hope he's got a plan B and he's got other jobs and he's just doing this out of the goodness of his heart. Because if he's doing this trying to, his business license says he's a consultant. If he's doing this trying to actually monetize and make some money, number one, he's going to be waiting for over 2 years. And number two, with his attitude, I don't really know how many people are going to want to engage him at that level. Oh, yes, the Pines. Thank you, Sue. Let me have this be the last topic of the day. So over the weekend, we were the first ones to report that the Pines had announced that they had 10 residents so far that tested positive, and one or a few staff members, and that they were going to be testing everybody else. Now, the most peculiar thing for me about this situation is, why is it that they were not testing residents on an ongoing and regular basis? This is now where I'm very confused. Help me with the confusion here. So they have indicated, I'm trying to find, where is their Facebook page, by the way? I see a Facebook page here, but I don't see anything that's been posted since March. That can't be right. What kind of page is this? The Pines Retirement Home? Do they not keep anything on Facebook? Anyway, don't know who doing that page for them, but anyway. So yes, it became clear that they were not actually testing their residents. Why? You have one nursing home in Cayman, folks, one retirement home with the most vulnerable people there, the elderly. A lot of them have comorbidities. Age alone for them would be a factor. And now I'm understanding it's not mandatory for nursing staff to be vaccinated at the home. They have a lot of residents that are not vaccinated. You know how quickly this could run through the home and kill off them poor little people? That's the only question I have for the Pines. We've had community spread for months now. Why did you not implement a policy immediately on how you're going to be testing and making sure that you know the status of what's happening at your facility? You know what someone said to me? yesterday. They said, you know how Alden and his government, the unity government, controlled and suppressed the coronavirus for as long as they did? They said, Sandy, it's very simple. They were just not testing anybody. And this is a perfect example of ignorance is bliss. If you're not testing anyone, how are you going to know if anybody positive? They said, you honestly think community transmission just sprung up in August or September of this year? So they put out an alternative position that I had to think about yesterday. And I said, this is interesting that we already had community spread. But because the government really wasn't testing anyone, they wouldn't know. And they gave an example of how someone was having symptoms and they actually went to a private facility and they were told no. The HSA is the only one who can do the testing. They told us not to do any testing, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. That was the end of that. So they said, yeah, we didn't have any community transmission cases because the government had put out a mandate to not test. So how would we know? Elizabeth says, I came in contact with one Cuban at customs and I was so scared the way that man was making death-threatening customs and saying the most disrespectful things in Spanish. And it's just very scary that this type of people with these types of anger issues is loose out there in the community. And the Cayman government is paying their rent and food, talking about ungrateful people and the most. This one man was complaining because he didn't like where he was staying. And so he was staying on the street. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, this is so unreal. You have, and then it got cut off. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, like I said, talking about ungrateful people, Javier and his family and that whole group fall into that category because this government was not making them starve. Let me be very clear. I don't know what they were used to in Cuba, but I doubt it was, well, then again, you know, the government seems to, they're a socialist country, so the government wants to pay for everything. Until they can no longer afford it. But, you know, the government here has been putting them up in a facility. And by the way, speaking of landlords and tenancy issues, I understand that they trash people's home, these rentals that they stay in, that they're so disgusting afterwards. Like when they took off the last time, my sources told me that the crew that had to go in there and clean that, they had to call in professionals because it was so disgusting how they kept this apartment unit. It had to be professionally cleaned and sanitized. Like, I don't even want to go into the details, but it was next level nasty what was found. So they're living in somebody's house and bringing down the value of that home because of how they're maintaining it and how they're just like throwing trash all over the place and all kind of stuff was found in there that was disgusting. Miss Rhonda, good morning, my love. How are you? She says, I guess this is happening all over the island, but I must say what's happening in West Bay. But this is going on for a very long time. The West Bay Public Beach, men and women sitting there eating and playing cards, throwing garbage all over. Now the beach is so dirty. Someone dumped dirty sand in piles on the beach. Then we have mental persons sleeping in the Rotary Central bus shelters, urinating in them, and some of them, their families are receiving money. You can't open your, and then it got cut off. Well, listen, this has been happening, unfortunately, and I think we need to get a handle on it. Just yesterday, someone sent me some photos, which I'm going to post up a little bit later on, of all of the sargassum and other debris that is caught up in that because people are littering. I don't know why people don't want to keep the environments clean. And I look at people like that who litter on the outside and I say, what does your inside of your house look like? One of the first things, anytime I visit a country, the first things that I look at is the nature of the sanitation. Like if you walk in the street, is the garbage collected? Is the streets full of garbage and debris? And, you know, because that says a lot. The cleanliness of the exterior of a country, like the public streets, I think say enough or a lot about that country. Yes, Miss Charlene, the nursing home is very vulnerable. So thank you, Miss Rhonda, for bringing that to our attention. And I think we need to get it together. Mm. It's ridiculous. Good morning, Miss Anne. She says, interesting topic. The nursing home and GCM doing one thing and the one in the BRAC doing another. Well, what's the one in the BRAC doing? Are they at least testing people on a regular basis? Like to me, I know they're an NPO, but all healthcare professionals, and I think even the UK is going to be mandating this, should be vaccinated. And there should be certain protocols that you're using in homes like that, in hospice care facilities. All of these places present a extremely high risk. So for the world of me, I just don't understand how it's possible. I don't know. It's just crazy. I'm hopeful that they can get it together before some elderly person dies in the home. Maria says our language is English, not Spanish. When people go to Rome, to any country, they have to adopt their language because not everyone has to learn Spanish. They just believe that everyone has to bow down to their level, and they're very angry people. Well, I know some of the ones that we have here are extremely angry, and I feel like, to be quite frank and honest, what we need to do is before we even give them asylum, maybe we need to be giving them a bit of a personality test to see what their anger levels are and what sorts of threats they potentially bring into the community. Not only that, folks, but let me remind you that there are people who are coming here that we don't know anything about their background. We don't know, there's allegations of certain people having a military background, being part of certain, shady organizations and groups, being part of gangs, and they're sporting gang tattoos that the government doesn't get to see. I'm sorry, but, call me stupid, but if you're applying for any sort of permanent stay in a country, whether it is political asylum or anything else, you need to be checked out thoroughly where you're coming from, because people can make up a story. Remember the Afghan nationals who came by way of, did they come through Cuba? But they made up some fancy story about how they got here that never really made any sense. Now, I don't think they've ever done anything. They seem like they were nice enough people, but this was a time when the entire world was in heightened alert because of 9/11, and they showed up under very mysterious circumstances. Did they even have identification or documents? I'm trying to remember how that story went. But again, we just taken it, a little bit too willy-nilly. A little bit like, oh, let's not worry about it. Nobody's ever going to harm us. It's like, really? You saw some crazy nut in the US ran a vehicle into a parade full of people? Like, it's not unheard of that Cayman is going to start having the trickle-down effect of importing crazy people and of having our own crazy people right here. Stuff happens all the time. So CE Bank says, who's in charge of the Pines? I think they have their own board. As for the former government, Alden and his cronies now have a lot to answer to. They never cared about us Caymanians. That's why we voted them out. Amen. Well, I'm shocked, my dear CE Banks, that the people who talk about they want him back. And I'm like, you people are crazy. Really? Oh, yeah, well, he had a press conference every day during the lockdown. That's what you need, a press conference every day? That makes you think a government's actually getting anything done? In fact, that's more counterproductive than anything I've ever seen. Yeah, garbage everywhere. It's disgusting. Oh, your mom is there and she's not being tested. Neither does she want to be vaccinated, her choice. And at her age, her many health issues, I support her. Well, I mean, then you have to know that the risk involved, she's not vaccinated. I'm sure other residents are not vaccinated and not even being tested. And the staff look like they're not being vaccinated and being tested. So It's her choice. But when something happens and she's on a ventilator, and that was because of her choice. You know, somebody said the other day that they want all these people who are refusing to get vaccinated to sign a waiver that you will also not be using up unnecessary hospital beds and hospital room and being treated once you get the coronavirus. And I have to say that I agree with that. Yes, let's make it about your choice. Let's forget how personal choices impact a society. Let's set that aside for a second. Can you also make the personal choice that when you finally do get COVID and you get sick, that you're not going to be using any resources because we need that for other people? To me, it's a very simple trade. I love how people talk about personal choice, but then when it comes down to it, they still want the best of care and to use up all the resources on them. You know how much it's going to cost? I know y'all don't care about costs, but y'all better care about it because it's going to trickle down to you here in a second. All these COVID measures, somebody said earlier, oh, well, we should be getting lateral flow tests for free. Nothing in life is free. My God, I keep telling y'all this. Get the word free out of your vocabulary. They're not giving you nothing for free. You're going to pay for it one way or the other. So indirectly, the cost of living is skyrocketing. Government fees going up, this, that. You think you're getting anything for free? Occasionally we give away free things here. And it really is free. Just to help people out. But I'm telling you, most things in life not free. And the more you sit down expecting government to give you something and to beg for something, the more you're going to find that you're not going to be able to survive. Isn't that ironic? You want something for free for nothing, and that is driving up the cost of everything around you. My good folks, thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. Thanks for the love and support. Remember, as you sit back and think about not getting vaccinated, here's a few figures for you. Have a look at this one. After the Delta virus became the most common variant, fully vaccinated people had reduced risk of infection by 5 times, hospitalization greater than 10 times, death greater than 10 times. This is the benefit, folks, from being vaccinated. Big shout out to Kevin Watler. He's going to be taking a little bit of a break. Been doing a fantastic job with our COVID Spotlight series. We've done it for months now. Kevin has been hosting them and putting it all together. But he needs a break. And I think we've covered most major topics. So unless there's something specific that comes up, we're going to ramp it down a little bit. And, if stuff comes up, then we can certainly have special shows and so on. But otherwise, we're going to be taking a break. And, we'll drop in bits and pieces of COVID conversations here and there and as required. Now, folks, please do not forget, you have a lot of options when it comes to sanitizing your homes. And believe me, you will definitely want to check out those available options, folks. Homes, classrooms. Right now, government is shutting down a daycare center, their baby room, because they can't, the space just is too small. So I'm going to talk about that. We're going to put that story up a little bit later on this morning. So that's another situation that's happening. Not a good situation at all, because now parents are left with, well, where on earth am I going to send my child? These are the realities of what's happening. So sanitizing your environment is really, really important. Please contact Reliable Industries for all of your sanitation needs, whether you need wipes, gloves. They've got the little packets that you can put in your handbag, the Purell Advanced pumps, everything they've got for you, folks. And look at this little special sanitizing machine that's also available to sanitize large areas.
Healthier spaces, healthier people. Electrostatic disinfection is a touchless cleaning technology. It provides a charge to a solution that electromagnetically sticks to a surface, providing 360-degree coverage. Rest assured, it is safe for electronics, food, and paper products. Reliable Industries, the clean you expect, the service you deserve.
I'm ready to reopen Cayman because it's time that our friends, family, and tourists are able to come once again and visit our beautiful island.
When we open up the borders, travel is going to be freer and we're going to be able to travel between countries better.
I'm ready to reopen, to be reunited with my loved ones living abroad.
I'm ready to reopen.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.